Captain Jake Morrison rubbed his tired eyes as he sat in the command center of the human exploration ship, Terra's Pride. The soft blue glow from the control panels lit up his weathered face in the darkness of space. Outside the large windows, stars stretched endlessly in all directions like tiny diamonds scattered on black velvet. Jake had been staring at those same stars for 3 months now, leading humanity's furthest journey into unknown space. The ship hummed quietly around him. Most of his crew was sleeping, trusting him to watch over them during the night shift. Jake liked these quiet hours. They gave him time to think about home, about Earth, and about the incredible journey that had brought humanity to the stars. Just 5 years ago, humans had been alone in the universe. Now they knew of 17 different alien species, and 3 of them had become friends. A soft beeping sound broke the silence. Jake looked at his communication screen and frowned. An incoming signal was trying to connect to their ship, but it was not coming from Earth or any of the human colonies. The signal was strong and clear, which meant it was coming from somewhere. Close by, Jake checked his star charts. There were no known alien worlds in this sector of space. Jake pressed the accept button, expecting to hear the familiar clicking sounds of Carillion speech, or maybe the musical tones of the Dulari language. Instead, a smooth voice spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, human vessel. This is Vex Corlani of the Zentari Broadcasting Network. I am requesting immediate communication with your ship's commander." Jake sat up straight in his chair. He had never heard of the Zentari before, and their broadcasting network was completely unknown to human records. How did they know English so perfectly? How did they even know his ship was here? "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Terra's Pride," Jake replied carefully. "How did you learn our language, and how did you find us?" The voice on the other end chuckled. It was not a friendly sound. "Captain Morrison, we have been monitoring human communications for quite some time. Your species is very interesting to us. I would like to conduct a live interview with you, if you would be so kind." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Someone had been watching humanity without their knowledge. This could be very dangerous. An interview? What kind of interview? "A simple conversation about your people and your recent activities in our galaxy. Nothing more. I should mention that this broadcast reaches viewers across 17 star systems. Millions of beings from dozens of different species will be watching. It would be quite an honor for humanity to speak to such a large audience." Jake's mind raced. An interview that would reach millions of aliens could be incredibly important for humanity's future in space. If he said the right things, it could help build new friendships and alliances. But if he said the wrong things, it could make enemies of species humanity had never even met. "I need a moment to consider this," Jake said. "Of course. But Captain, I should tell you that we are already broadcasting. The interview has begun whether you participate or not. Right now, millions of viewers are hearing silence from the human ship. They are wondering if you are too afraid to speak." Jake felt trapped. If he refused to speak, it would make humans look weak or guilty of something. If he agreed to speak, he could accidentally say something that would hurt humanity's chances of making friends in the galaxy. But he was a military officer, trained to make hard decisions under pressure. "Very well, I will speak with you." "Excellent." Vex's voice became warm and welcoming. "Ladies and gentlemen across the galaxy, I am pleased to introduce Captain Jake Morrison of the human vessel Terra's Pride. Captain, please tell our viewers about yourself." Jake took a deep breath. "I am the commander of this exploration ship. We are on a peaceful mission to explore space and hopefully meet new friends among the stars. I have been serving in the human space program for 8 years. How fascinating. And tell us, Captain, about humanity's recent expansion into space. Your species has been quite busy in the past few years." "Yes, we have. When we first developed faster-than-light travel, we were excited to explore and learn. We have established several small colonies and research stations. Every time we meet a new species, we try to learn from them and share what we know." "How noble," Vex said, but something in his tone made Jake nervous. "And these colonies and research stations, they are all completely peaceful, are they?" "Of course they are. Humanity learned long ago that war only brings suffering. We left our conflicts behind when we reached for the stars." "Interesting. Our viewers are quite curious about human society. Tell us about your personal life, Captain. Do you have family aboard your ship?" Jake hesitated. He was not sure why Vex was asking about his personal life, but the question seemed harmless enough. "I do have someone special aboard this ship. Dr. Lisa Chun is our head scientist and my partner." "Ah, how romantic. A love story among the stars. Tell us more about Dr. Chun. What kind of scientist is she?" "Lisa is a xenobiologist. She studies alien life forms and helps us understand how to communicate with new species peacefully. She has been essential to our success in making friends with other races. A xenobiologist who specializes in alien communication. How convenient for an exploration mission." There was definitely something strange in Vex's voice now. "And Dr. Chun, she has access to all of your ship's information about the species you have encountered." "Well, yes. She needs that information to do her job properly." Jake was starting to feel like he was walking into a trap, but he could not see what it might be. "Of course she does. Captain Morrison, you seem like an honest man. I hope you will continue to be honest with our viewers as we continue this conversation." Jake's hands tightened on the arms of his chair. The way Vex said those words made it clear that the real interview was just beginning, and that everything up to now had been preparation for something much more serious. Across the ship, other crew members were starting to wake up as news of the broadcast spread. Jake could see lights turning on in different sections of the Terra's Pride. Soon, his entire crew would be watching to see how their captain handled this unexpected situation. Jake looked out at the stars once more and made a silent promise to Kunda, himself, and to humanity. Whatever Vex Corlani was planning, Jake would not let his people down. He would face whatever accusations or challenges came next with courage and honesty. The galaxy was watching, and Jake Morrison was ready to show them what humanity was really made of. The silence stretched across the communication channel for several long seconds. Jake could hear his own heartbeat in his ears as he waited for Vex Corlani to continue. Around him, the bridge of the Terra's Pride was slowly coming to life as more crew members arrived to see what was happening. Jake noticed his second-in-command, Lieutenant Danny Walsh, quietly taking a seat at the navigation station. "Captain Morrison," Vex finally spoke, his voice now cold and sharp. "I think it is time we discuss the real reason your ship is in this sector of space." Jake felt his stomach tighten. "I already told you. We are on an exploration mission to learn about new worlds and meet new species." "Really? That is very interesting, because our intelligence sources tell us a completely different story." Vex paused dramatically. "Our sources indicate that your so-called exploration mission is actually a cover for military expansion." The words hit Jake like a physical blow. "That is completely false. We are not a military vessel." "Come now, Captain. Do not insult the intelligence of our viewers. You yourself admitted that you have been serving in the human space program for 8 years. What did you do before that? Were you not a soldier?" Jake's jaw clenched. Vex had done his homework, but he was twisting the facts. "Yes, I served in the Earth military before joining the space program. Many of us did. That does not make this a military mission." "Ah, but it does make you a warrior, does it not? And this Dr. Lisa Chun you mentioned so fondly. Tell us more about her real job." "Aboard your ship. I already told you. She is a xenobiologist who studies alien life forms. Is she really? Vex's voice took on a mocking tone. Ladies and gentlemen viewing across the galaxy, I have some very disturbing information to share with you about Dr. Lisa Chun and her true purpose aboard the human vessel. Jake's blood ran cold. Whatever Vex was about to say, Jake knew it would not be good. According to our intelligence reports, Dr. Lisa Chun is not just a scientist. She is a military strategist trained in psychological warfare and alien culture. Manipulation. Her real job is to study the weaknesses of alien species so that humanity can exploit them later. That is a lie. Jake shouted, rising from his chair. Around him, his crew members looked shocked and angry. Lisa is the most peaceful person I know. She has never hurt anyone in her life. Please, Captain, control yourself. We are live across 17 star systems. Vex's voice was smooth and pleased. Let me share more details about your girlfriend's interesting background. Did you know that before joining your ship, Dr. Chun wrote several research papers on alien psychology and behavioral control? Did you know that she has detailed files on the weaknesses and fears of every species you have encountered? Jake's hands were shaking with rage. Those files are research notes to help us communicate better. They are meant to prevent conflicts, not cause them. How convenient. And I suppose it is just a coincidence that everywhere your ship goes, you manage to gain access to restricted alien territories? Just a coincidence that you always seem to know exactly what to say to get alien governments to trust you. We are diplomats as much as explorers. Of course we try to build trust. Diplomats. Vex repeated the word like it tasted bad. Is that what you call it when Dr. Chun uses her feminine charms to manipulate alien officials? When she pretends to be interested in their cultures while secretly gathering intelligence? Jake was so angry he could barely speak. You do not know what you are talking about. Lisa respects every culture we encounter. She has made real friendships with dozens of alien researchers. Friendships, Vex laughed coldly. Captain Morrison, let me ask you a direct question. Are you really so naive that you believe Dr. Chun's feelings for you are genuine? Or do you know that she is using you just like she uses everyone else? The question felt like a knife in Jake's chest. For just a moment, doubt crept into his mind. Lisa was brilliant and beautiful and kind. Sometimes Jake wondered why someone like her would choose to be with someone like him. But then he remembered her smile, her laugh, the way she held his hand when she was scared during their first alien encounter. You are trying to manipulate me, just like you are manipulating your viewers, Jake said quietly. Lisa and I love each other. That is real, no matter what lies you spread. Love, Vex said mockingly. How touching. But tell me, Captain, when did this love begin? Was it before or after she was assigned to your ship? Because our records show that Dr. Chun specifically requested to serve under your command. She sought you out, not the other way around. Jake felt the blood drain from his face. That was true. Lisa had requested assignment to his ship, but she had explained that it was because she wanted to work with the best exploration crew in the human fleet. Jake had been honored that such a brilliant scientist wanted to serve with him. I can see from your silence that you did not know this, Vex continued. How does it feel, Captain Morrison, to realize that your relationship might be just another part of her mission? That every kiss, every moment of intimacy, might have been calculated to keep you under her control? Around the bridge, Jake's crew was looking at him with a mixture of sympathy and concern. Lieutenant Walsh stepped forward. Captain, you do not have to listen to this. But Jake knew he could not just end the broadcast. Millions of aliens were watching. If he ran away now, it would look like he was guilty of everything Vex was saying. Humanity's reputation in the galaxy would be destroyed. You want to paint humans as monsters, Jake said into the microphone. You want your viewers to fear us and hate us. But you are the one spreading lies and trying to destroy relationships between species. I am simply sharing the truth that our intelligence services have uncovered. The truth about humanity's real plans for galactic expansion. The truth about how your species uses deception and manipulation instead of honest diplomacy. If you have evidence of these claims, then show it, Jake challenged. Very well. We will be broadcasting documents and recordings that prove everything I have said. But first, Captain Morrison, I think your viewers deserve to meet the woman we have been discussing. Why do not you call Dr. Chun to join us? Let us see if she can defend herself against these accusations. Jake's heart was pounding. This was exactly what Vex wanted. He wanted to put Lisa on the spot, to make her look guilty and defensive in front of millions of alien viewers. But Jake also knew that Lisa was strong and smart. If anyone could handle Vex's attacks, it was her. Fine, Jake said. But I warn you, Dr. Chun is not going to be intimidated by your lies any more than I am. As Jake reached for the intercom to call Lisa to the bridge, he wondered if he was making a terrible mistake, but it was too late to back down now. The fate of humanity's future in the galaxy was about to be decided by whatever happened in the next few minutes. Jake pressed the intercom button with a steady hand, though his heart was racing. Dr. Chun, please report to the bridge immediately. We have a situation that requires your presence. While they waited, Vex Corlani's voice filled the silence. Ladies and gentlemen across the galaxy, we are about to meet the woman at the center of humanity's deception. I wonder if she will try to charm our viewers the same way she's apparently charmed Captain Morrison. 3 minutes later, the bridge. Doors opened and Dr. Lisa Chun walked in. She was a small woman with kind eyes and gentle features, wearing a simple blue science uniform. Her black hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and she looked tired from working late in her laboratory. When she saw the communication screen active and the crew gathered around, she immediately understood something important was happening. Jake, what is going on? She asked softly. Jake looked at her face and felt his doubts disappear. This was the woman who stayed up all night treating injured crew members when they caught an alien virus. This was the woman who cried when they had to leave behind a sick alien child they could not help. This was the woman who gave her own food to hungry refugees on the last planet they visited. Lisa, we are in a live interview with someone called Vex Corlani from the Zentari Broadcasting Network. He has been making accusations about you and about our mission. I wanted you to have the chance to defend yourself. Lisa straightened her shoulders and walked to stand beside Jake. What kind of accusations? Vex's voice came through the speakers before Jake could answer. Dr. Chun, how nice of you to join us. I was just telling our viewers about your fascinating background. Perhaps you could tell them yourself about your military training in psychological warfare? Lisa looked confused. I have no military training in psychological warfare. I studied biology and xenobiology at Earth University. I have never been in the military. Really? Then perhaps you can explain these documents. The main screen lit up with what appeared to be official papers. These show that you attended courses in alien behavioral analysis and cultural manipulation tactics. Lisa studied the documents for a moment, then shook her head. Those are not manipulation tactics. Those were classes in cross-cultural communication. Every xenobiologist takes them. We need to understand how different species think and communicate, so we can avoid accidentally offending them or causing misunderstandings. How convenient, Vex said sarcastically. And I suppose your detailed psychological profiles of alien leaders are also just for better communication? Yes, they are. Lisa's voice was calm but firm. When you are trying to prevent wars and build peace between species, you need to understand what makes people afraid, what makes them angry, and what makes them feel safe. I study alien psychology so I can help our diplomats avoid saying things that might start conflicts. Jake watched Lisa speak and felt proud of her courage. She was not backing down or getting defensive. She was simply telling the truth in her clear, honest way. Dr. Chun, Vex continued, our intelligence sources tell us that you specifically requested assignment to Captain Morrison's ship. Is this true? Yes, it is true. Lisa looked directly at the camera. I requested assignment to the Terra's Pride because Captain Morrison had the best record for peaceful first contact with alien species. I wanted to work with a captain who shared my values of exploration and friendship rather than conquest. And when did your romantic relationship with the captain begin? Lisa glanced at Jake with a small smile. About 6 months after I joined the crew. Jake was kind to everyone, brave in dangerous situations, and he always listened to my scientific advice even when it meant taking risks to help others. I fell in love with who he was, not with his rank or position. How touching. But Dr. Chun, let me ask you about something specific. On the planet Corleone Prime, you convinced the Planetary Council to give humans access to their restricted mining zones. How did you accomplish this? Lisa's expression grew sad. The Corleans were facing a famine because their soil had been poisoned by industrial accidents. I analyzed their ecosystem and found a way to neutralize the toxins using earth bacteria. In exchange for saving their food supply, they allowed us to study their unique crystal formations. No one was hurt, and both species benefited. And on Dulari Station, you somehow gained access to their classified energy research. The Dulari were having power failures that were killing people in their hospitals. Our engineer, Pete Williams, figured out how to fix their power grid using human technology. The Dulari scientists were so grateful that they shared some of their research with us. Again, we helped them first, and they chose to help us in return. Vex was quiet for a moment, clearly not expecting such straightforward answers. Jake stepped closer to Lisa and spoke into the microphone. Every planet we have visited, we have tried to help first and learn second. Lisa has never manipulated anyone. She has saved lives. Captain Morrison, you still have not addressed the most important question, Vex said, his voice growing sharper. If Dr. Chun is truly just a scientist, why does she have clearance to access all of your ship's military communications and strategic planning? Jake felt his anger rising again. Because she does not have that clearance. Lisa has access to scientific data and diplomatic communications. She has never seen our defense plans or military protocols. Is that so? Vex sounded pleased. Then perhaps you can explain why our monitoring stations detected encrypted military transmissions from your ship to Earth headquarters. Transmissions that were sent using Dr. Chen's personal communication codes. Jake and Lisa looked at each other in shock. Lisa shook her head quickly. I have not sent any military communications. I do not even have the codes to send military messages. Dr. Chun, our evidence clearly shows otherwise. We have recordings of these transmissions. Should I play them for our viewers? Yes, Lisa said firmly. Play them. If someone has been using my codes to send messages, I want to know what they sighed. Jake felt a chill run through him. If there really were military communications being sent from their ship using Lisa's codes, it could only mean one thing. Someone on his crew was a spy, and they were trying to frame Lisa for their actions. The situation had just become much more dangerous than a simple interview. Someone was trying to destroy not just Lisa's reputation, but potentially start a war between humans and the other species in the galaxy. Very well, Vex said, sounding very satisfied. Let us listen to these communications together. I think our viewers will find them quite revealing about humanity's true intentions. As Jake waited for the recordings to play, he realized that he and Lisa were not just fighting for their own reputations anymore. They were fighting for the future of human relationships with every species in the galaxy. And someone on his own ship might be working against them. The bridge of the Terra's Pride fell completely silent as everyone waited for Vex Corlani to play the recordings. Jake could hear the quiet hum of the ship's engines and the soft beeping of monitoring equipment. Lisa stood beside him, her face pale but determined. Around them, the crew members looked nervous and confused. "Before I play these recordings," Vex announced to his galactic audience, "I want to remind our viewers that these communications were intercepted by our monitoring stations over the past 3 months. They show the true nature of humanity's expansion into our galaxy." Jake felt his stomach twist into knots. Whatever they were about to hear, he knew it would not be good. The first recording began to play. It was Lisa's voice, but something was wrong with how she sounded. Her words were cold and mechanical, nothing like her usual warm tone. "Earth Command, this is Dr. Chun reporting from the Terra's Pride. We have successfully infiltrated the Corlean government. The aliens trust us completely. They have no idea we are mapping their defense systems. Recommend proceeding to Phase 2 of the invasion plan." Lisa gasped and grabbed Jake's arm. "That is not me. I mean, it sounds like my voice, but I never said those words. Jake, you have to believe me." Jake stared at the communication screen in shock. The voice did sound exactly like Lisa, but the words were completely wrong. Lisa would never talk about infiltration or invasion plans. She spent her time trying to prevent conflicts, not start them. "Very convincing performance, Dr. Chun," Vex said mockingly. "Should I play more recordings?" "Yes," Jake said firmly. "Play all of them. Because whoever is speaking, it is not the real Lisa Chun." The second recording began. Again, it was Lisa's voice speaking words that made Jake's blood run cold. "Earth Command, the Dulari have shared their energy technology with us. This will give humanity a significant military advantage. I recommend we begin Phase 3 immediately. These aliens are too trusting for their own good." Lieutenant Danny Walsh stepped forward from his position at the navigation station. "Captain, that recording is fake. I was with Dr. Chun when she was writing her real report about the Dulari. She was excited about using their technology to help with medical equipment, not weapons." Lisa nodded gratefully at Danny. "Thank you." "Jake, someone is creating false recordings using my voice. This is not real." But before Jake could respond, Vex played a third recording that made everyone on the bridge freeze in shock. "Earth Command, Captain Morrison suspects nothing. He believes I genuinely care about him. The fool has no idea that our relationship is just part of the mission. Once we have secured the alien territories, I recommend we eliminate him as a security risk." This time, Lisa's face went completely white. Jake felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. Even though he knew the recordings were fake, hearing those words in Lisa's voice was incredibly painful. "Lisa," Jake said quietly, "I know you did not say that." "Jake, I swear to you, I have never said any of those things. Someone is trying to destroy us." Lisa's eyes were filled with tears. "I love you more than anything in the universe. I would never hurt you." Jake looked into Lisa's eyes and saw the truth there. But he also realized that millions of aliens across the galaxy were hearing these recordings and believing them. Humanity's reputation was being destroyed with each word. "Vex Corlani," Jake said, turning back to the communication screen, "those recordings are fake. Someone has created them to make humanity look evil." "Fake?" Vex laughed. "Captain Morrison, our technical experts have analyzed these recordings thoroughly. They are completely authentic. There is no evidence of tampering or artificial creation." "Then your technical experts are wrong," Jake said angrily. "I know Lisa Chun better than anyone. She would never say those things. Or perhaps, Captain, you simply do not know her as well as you think you do." Jake was about to respond when Lisa suddenly grabbed his arm again. "Jake, wait. Something is wrong with those recordings beyond just the words. What do you mean?" Lisa turned to face the communication screen directly. Mr. Corlani, can you play the first recording again? I want to listen to something specific. Certainly, Dr. Chen. Perhaps you can explain to our viewers exactly what you meant by Phase 2 of the invasion plan. As the first recording played. Again, Lisa listened carefully. Jake watched her face as she concentrated on every word. When it finished, she looked excited despite the terrible situation. Jake, did you hear that? In the recording, I mentioned mapping Corlean defense systems. But the Corleans do not have defense systems. They are a completely peaceful species with no military. Whoever made these fake recordings did not know that. Jake felt a spark of hope. You are right. Lisa, what else can you tell us about these recordings? In the second recording, I supposedly talked about the Dulari sharing energy technology for military advantages. But Dulari energy technology only works for medical and scientific equipment. It cannot be used for weapons. Again, whoever made these recordings did not understand what they were talking about. Lieutenant Walsh nodded from his station. Dr. Chun is right, Captain. Anyone who had actually been to those planets would know those facts. Jake turned back to the communication screen with new confidence. Vex Corlani, your so-called evidence is full of mistakes that prove the recordings are fake. Whoever gave you this information does not actually know anything about the planets we have visited. That is a very creative explanation, Captain Morrison. But our viewers can hear the recordings for themselves. They sound exactly like Dr. Chun's voice. Yes, they do, Jake agreed. Which means someone has very advanced technology for creating fake recordings. The question is, who would want to make humanity look evil, and why? Perhaps, Vex said slowly, the question you should be asking is who has access to Dr. Chin's voice recordings and your ship's communication systems. Jake felt another chill run through him. Vex was right. Creating fake recordings that sounded exactly like Lisa would require access to many hours of her real voice. And sending those recordings using her communication codes would require access to the ship's computer systems. You are suggesting that someone on my own crew is responsible for this, Jake said. I am not suggesting anything, Captain. I am simply asking the questions that our viewers deserve to have answered. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew members. These were people he had served with for years. People he trusted with his life. The idea that one of them might be betraying humanity was almost too terrible to consider. But as he studied their faces, Jake realized that Vex Corlani had done something very clever. He had not just accused Lisa of being a spy. He had made Jake suspect his own crew. The real question was whether this was part of Vex's plan to destroy human unity, or whether there really was a traitor aboard the Terra's Pride. Either way, Jake knew that he needed to find the truth before humanity's reputation in the galaxy was destroyed forever. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew members one more time, then made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. Instead of continuing to defend against Vex's accusations, he was going to attack. Mr. Corlani, Jake said in a calm, steady voice, I have some questions for you. Vex sounded amused. Questions for me, Captain? I am the one conducting this interview, not anymore. You see, while you have been playing your fake recordings and making accusations, my crew has been doing something very interesting. Lieutenant Walsh, please tell our galactic audience what you discovered. Danny Walsh stepped forward to the communication station. Captain, while Dr. Chun was analyzing the voice recordings, I was running a trace on the communication signals. The fake messages using Dr. Chun's codes did not come from our ship. They came from a Zentari monitoring station. A shocked silence filled the communication channel. Jake could almost feel Vex's surprise through the speakers. That is impossible, Vex said, but his voice was not as confident as before. Is it? Jake asked. Lisa, please tell our viewers what else you discovered about those recordings. Lisa stepped closer to the microphone. The recordings were not just wrong about the facts. They were also wrong about the timing. According to the time stamps, I supposedly sent a message about infiltrating the Corleone government 3 days before we even arrived at their planet. I apparently discussed Dulari technology 2 weeks before we met the Dulari. Jake nodded. So not only are the recordings fake, but whoever made them does not even know our actual travel schedule. There must be some mistake, Vex said, but he sounded worried now. No mistake, Jake replied. But let me ask you something, Mr. Corleone. How did your people learn to speak English so perfectly? Humans have only been in space for 5 years. We have had contact with 3 alien species, and none of them were the Centauri. So when did you learn our language? We ... We are very good at learning languages quickly, really. Because my communications officer just finished analyzing your speech patterns. Computer, play the linguistic analysis. The ship's computer spoke in its calm, electronic voice. Analysis complete. Speaker Vex Corleone demonstrates perfect knowledge of human idioms, cultural references, and emotional expressions that would require years of study or direct contact with human society. Jake smiled grimly. So either you have been secretly studying humans for years without our knowledge, or you have had help from someone who knows our culture very well. Which is it? For the first time since the interview began, Vex was completely silent. Let me help you answer that question, Jake continued. Computer, run a background search on all Centauri communications with known human territories. Search complete. The Centauri Broadcasting Network has been intercepting human communications for the past 18 months. Additionally, there are records of direct communication between Centauri officials and the Earth Colonial Administration. Jake felt his anger growing. So you have been spying on humanity for over a year, and you have been talking to our own government. Yet you decided to ambush me with this interview instead of going through proper diplomatic channels. Why? We ... We were investigating reports of human military expansion. No, Jake interrupted. You were not investigating anything. You were looking for an excuse to attack humanity's reputation. The question is why? Lisa suddenly gasped and grabbed Jake's arm. Jake, ask him about the Centauri colonies near human space. What about them? Computer, search for any reports of natural disasters or emergencies in Centauri space over the past year. Search complete. Multiple reports of asteroid impacts, plague outbreaks, and system failures in Centauri colonies. Several emergency aid requests were transmitted, but received no official response from Centauri government. Jake stared at the communication screen as understanding hit him. You have been covering up disasters in your own territories. And you have been covering up something else, have not you? Computer, search for any record of human aid missions to Centauri colonies. Search complete. 7 separate human rescue missions provided aid to Centauri colonies in distress. Medical supplies, food, engineering assistance, and emergency evacuation services were provided. No payment or reward was requested. The bridge erupted in excited whispers as Jake's crew realized what was happening. Vex Corleone was not just attacking humanity out of prejudice. He was trying to hide the fact that humans had been quietly saving Centauri lives. Mr. Corleone, Jake said softly, how many Centauri citizens are alive today because of human aid missions that your government decided to keep secret? That information is classified. ... Computer, estimate Centauri lives saved by human intervention based on available data. Estimated minimum, 47,000 Centauri lives saved through human humanitarian aid. The communication channel was completely quiet now. Jake knew that millions of aliens across 17 star systems were hearing this information for the first time. 47,000, Jake repeated. That is a lot of people to keep secret, Mr. Corleone. Why did your government not want its citizens to know that humans were helping them? Before Vex could answer, Another voice came through the communication system. It was speaking in a different alien language that Jake did not recognize. "Translation incoming," the ship's computer announced. "Speaker identifies as Ambassador Krell of the Corlean Trade Council. Message reads, 'We confirm human rescue operations in our territory. Humans saved our mining colony from asteroid impact without requesting payment or territory rights.'" Then another voice, this time in the musical language of the Dulari. "Translation incoming. Speaker identifies as Science Director Eula of the Dulari Research Station. Message reads, 'Humans provided critical medical aid during the plague outbreak. They asked for nothing in return except friendship.'" More voices began joining the broadcast. Species that Jake had never heard of started calling in to confirm similar stories. Humans rescuing trapped miners. Humans providing food during famines. Humans sharing medical knowledge to stop diseases, one by one. Representatives from across the galaxy were telling the same story. Humans were not conquerors or manipulators. They were helpers and friends. "This is impossible," Vex said, his voice now panicked. "These people cannot all be calling in. This must be some kind of human trick." "Mr. Corlani," Jake said quietly, "I think your viewers know the difference between a trick and the truth. The question is, why were you so determined to make them believe that humans were evil?" I was just reporting the information I was given. "By who? Who gave you those fake recordings? Who told you to attack humanity on live television?" "But," instead of answering, Vex Corlani did something that shocked everyone. He ended the transmission. The communication channel went dead, leaving Jake and his crew staring at a blank screen. Around them, the voices of grateful aliens were still calling in, trying to reach the Terra's Pride directly. Jake realized that something incredible had just happened. In trying to destroy humanity's reputation, Vex Corlani had accidentally brought together dozens of alien species who wanted to publicly thank humans for their kindness. The interview had backfired completely. But Jake had a feeling that the real story was just beginning. The bridge of the Terra's Pride was filled with the sounds of incoming communications from dozens of alien species. Jake watched in amazement as his communication officer, Ensign Maria Santos, tried to manage all the calls coming in at once. "Captain," Maria called out, "I have 17 different species trying to contact us directly. They all want to thank us for help we provided to their people." Jake looked at Lisa, who was smiling for the first time since the interview began. "I guess word is spreading fast across the galaxy," she said. Lieutenant Danny Walsh was working at his computer station. "Captain, I am also picking up emergency broadcasts from Zentari space. It sounds like their own people are demanding answers about why their government hid the human rescue missions." Before Jake could respond, their communication system activated again. This time, it was not Vex Corlani's voice they heard, but a different Zentari speaking in heavily accented English. "Human vessel Terra's Pride. This is Admiral Zara Corlith of the Zentari Defense Fleet. Please respond." Jake straightened his uniform and activated the communication link. "This is Captain Morrison. How can we help you, Admiral?" "Captain Morrison, I am calling to apologize for the behavior of Vex Corlani and the lies that were broadcast about your people. The Zentari government had no knowledge of his plans to attack humanity in this way." "Thank you, Admiral. But I have to ask, did your government know about the human aid missions to your colonies?" There was a long pause before Admiral Corlith answered, "Yes, Captain. Our government knew. And I am ashamed to say that we made the decision to keep this information secret from our people. We were afraid that if our citizens knew how much humans had helped us, they would question why we had not offered to help humanity in return." Jake felt surprised by the honesty in the Admiral's voice. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because the truth has already come out, thanks to your interview. Across our entire star system, Zentari citizens are watching recordings of other species praising human kindness. They are demanding to know why their government hid this information. We cannot continue the deception. Lisa stepped forward to the microphone. Admiral Corlith, humans did not help your people because we wanted something in return. We helped because it was the right thing to do. I know that now, Dr. Chun, and that makes our government's actions even more shameful. We should have honored your kindness instead of hiding it. Jake made a decision that would change everything. Admiral, would you be willing to restart the galactic broadcast? I think there are some things that need to be said to everyone who is watching. Yes, Captain. We can reconnect to the Zentari Broadcasting Network immediately. Vex Kurlani has been removed from his position, and we are taking control of the broadcast. Within minutes, the communication channel was active again. This time, Admiral Corlith's voice addressed the galactic audience. Citizens of 17 star systems, this is Admiral Zara Corlith of the Zentari Defense Fleet. I am speaking to correct the lies that were broadcast earlier today about humanity. Captain Morrison of the human vessel Terra's Pride, the communication channel is yours. Jake took a deep breath. He knew that millions of beings across the galaxy were listening to his words. This was humanity's chance to tell their real story. My fellow beings across the stars, Jake began. My name is Captain Jake Morrison, and I represent the human species. Today you heard many accusations about my people. You heard claims that we are conquerors and manipulators. You heard fake recordings designed to make us look evil. All of these things were lies. Jake paused and looked at Lisa, who nodded encouragingly. The truth is much simpler than the lies. Humans came to the stars because we were curious and lonely. We wanted to learn about the universe and make friends with other species. When we found beings in trouble, we helped them because that is what friends do for each other. More communications were coming in from across the galaxy. Maria was writing down messages and handing them to Jake. He read a few of them and smiled. I am receiving messages from many of you right now. The Corlean Trade Council wants to officially thank humans for saving their mining colony. The Dulari Research Station is inviting human scientists to work together on new medical discoveries. The Alaran refugee fleet is telling everyone about how humans shared their food supplies during the famine. Jake felt his voice getting stronger as he spoke. These are the true stories of humanity. We are not perfect. We make mistakes, and we are still learning how to be good neighbors in this galaxy. But we try every day to help rather than hurt, to build rather than destroy, to make friends rather than enemies. Lisa stepped forward again. If I may add something, Captain Morrison spoke about learning to be good neighbors. That is exactly what we hope to accomplish. Human scientists want to work with alien researchers to solve problems that affect all of us. Human doctors want to share medical knowledge that can save lives across multiple species. Admiral Corlith's voice joined the conversation. The Zentari government would like to formally request a meeting with human representatives. We want to discuss how we can work together instead of hiding from each other. Then something wonderful began to happen. Species after species started calling in to request meetings, partnerships, and exchanges with humanity. The Corleans wanted to share their mining technology. The Dulari offered to teach humans about energy systems. The Allurans invited human families to visit their worlds. Jake realized that Vex Kurlani's plan had completely backfired. Instead of making the galaxy hate humanity, his lies had brought together dozens of species who wanted to be friends with humans. Dr. Chun and I would like to make an announcement, Jake said into the microphone. We are going to establish a new project called the Galactic Peace Academy. It will be a place where beings from all worlds can come together to learn about diplomacy, science, and cooperation. Every species will be welcome. Lisa nodded. The academy will have one simple rule. Everyone who comes there must promise to help others when they are in need. regardless of what species they belonged to. Over the next hour, representatives from 43 different species contacted the Terra's Pride to express interest in the Peace Academy. Plans were made for meetings, exchanges, and joint projects that would benefit everyone. As the communication session finally ended, Jake put his arm around Lisa and looked out at the stars. "Well, that was not the quiet exploration mission we planned." Lisa laughed and leaned against his shoulder. "No, but I think we accomplished something much more important than exploration. We helped create a real community among the stars." 6 months later, the Galactic Peace Academy opened its doors on a small planet at the center of known space. Students from 67 different species came to learn together. Vex Corlani, who had lost his job and his reputation, was among the first to apply for admission. In his application letter, he wrote that he wanted to learn how to tell the truth instead of spreading lies, and how to bring people together instead of driving them apart. The Academy accepted him immediately. After all, as humans had proven, everyone deserves a second chance to do the right thing. Jake Morrison and Lisa Chun became the Academy's first directors, and their love story became legend across the galaxy. Not because it was a story of manipulation or deception, but because it was a story of two people who chose to trust each other and work together to make the universe a better place. And in the end, that was the most human thing of all.